Alright, so today I got everything set up in the 4RS. Gonna do a YouTube video, kind of like me just running some errands today. I'm gonna be yapping about how Amazon FBA paid for the 4RS, the X5M, and my daily driver truck. Just going over the whole story about, you know, how we got to where we are and all the steps taken, and yeah, dropping a bunch of free knowledge. Not really just knowledge, but steps along the way that you can replicate yourself to get to where we are. And it's really not that hard. You just have to put the work in consecutively and consistently for years on it. Yeah, so I'm gonna go set this up in the car and we'll resume mission from the car. To kind of go for a ride, make a little compilation of everything, and yeah, go over the whole story too. Because it's cool to see people like driving these cars, I think. But it's also even cooler to figure out like how they got them and see if it's attainable for other folks out there, which it certainly is. And I'm kind of like living proof of that. I definitely been to like a ton of car shows growing up as a kid with my dad and stuff, and I would like drool over these kind of cars as a younger kid and a teenager. So yeah, I mean, definitely attainable. I'm 28 years old. You're just watching me for the first time, getting to know me. I live in New England. I live in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and yeah, I do Amazon FBA. So I buy and sell brand name products on Amazon. I don't create anything new. I just simply go off of what other brands have already created. We built a retail storefront in Hampton, New Hampshire, about 20 minutes away from where I live. So it's really not that far, as our warehouse is like 20 minutes in the other direction, so I'm kind of like triangulated. We're gonna get on it here to get out in front of these folks. Minor distraction, sorry about that. Probably gonna happen a few times. Someone's checking out the car. Crack the window. I got the camera right here.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you, man. I
love the color. Everything about it is so beautiful.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm going that way too, but I had to look at the car.
You want me to let you go?
The fuck out. I should probably just go.
You want me to let you go?
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah. So that does happen quite a bit. And it's kind of cool, especially when it's genuine and people don't know that I'm recording. Yeah, so that's kind of common, honestly. Not as common as I would have necessarily thought if you had like a Lambo or something. Obviously a 4RS is not quite a Lambo. It's still super cool in my opinion. But you're not driving around like a Revuelto around town. And believe it or not, in the seacoast, in the seacoast of New Hampshire, there are a ton of like supercars around. There was a Bugatti like Chiron Super Sport, I think, in like Northampton, which is like literally 5 minutes from my house. So people are driving around some pretty baller cars in this area. There's a ton of like old money in Northampton. We're kind of going to go down that road, and I'll take some meta film, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to stumble over my words, and I'm not going to edit the shit out because I really think being genuine in this stuff is like where it's all at anyway. But yeah, so we got e-com business is mine. Retail store, me and Nate share. Warehouse, me and Nate share. And the content creation and any sort of mentorship, anything that I'm going to be offering in the future or right now, link in the description below if you're interested. But yeah, so any of that stuff is all separate. It's just me. And I think it's smart that we kind of have done that, like just in the sense of like creating things together and also creating things separately. I think it really helps, like in terms of like money. Like when I went to buy this car, I didn't have to ask anyone for permission. I just kind of went and did it. But yeah, so Amazon FBA, 3 years ago, we started this whole venture. August of 2022, I created my LLC and started the Amazon seller account, opened everything up, and yeah, that's essentially, yeah, September of 2022 is when it all started. We started hammering like Nike stuff, Nike socks, apparel, just flipping pretty much anything. To get like ungated in Nike too was a bitch. It took like 2 or 3 months. I remember I started in September of 2022, and I was so damn paranoid that I wasn't going to be ungated in Nike like in time for Q4, like the big hit. So I was selling just like anything. I found like cocoa butter, deodorant, sourcing from Walmart, Bed Bath & Beyond, other Kohl's stuff like Jockey, all that stuff. And I was just selling anything. Like I remember like deliberately losing money on products just to get the sales history and the reputation to get ungated in Nike. And it was still a lot easier than it is today, but it's still not impossible today. You just need to keep your nose on the grindstone, keep chugging along, and you will certainly get ungated eventually. It's just a matter of time and sales volume. Not necessarily time, because if you don't do anything in that time, then shit's not gonna happen anyway. But if you do the work and get stuff going, you will certainly get those ungates that you want so bad. And yeah. Stop right here. I wish I had one of those cameras that I could put like on the exhaust in the back, so when I rip it, I gotta look into that actually. That's on the to-do list for sure. But yeah, I gotta get to Walmart. I'm not really going the right direction to get to Walmart, but that's okay. That's the best part about driving this car. So I don't really care where I'm going as long as I'm driving this thing. Yeah, so that was the grind at the beginning of the whole venture. Really grinding in the parents' basement, that's not a joke. That's 100% a thing that I was doing for like 3 months until I hired a prep center. So Q4 wrapped up. I remember I think I did like almost $200,000 in sales in 2022. So the first 4 months that I started, it was like 150 or 200,000. It's in my Instagram somewhere. I have a screenshot. But yeah, so that essentially first 4 months really opened the doors for me and just my eyes in general of like what the capabilities and possibilities are with Amazon. So doing 200,000 in sales, I probably made like 30 to 40 grand in profit. And I wanted to make sure it was sustainable before I quit my 9-to-5 job. That was my biggest fear, leaving the 9-to-5 and having an unsustainable source of income where things are going to fluctuate month over month. So I said, I'm going to do this for 3 to 6 more months, and if I can sustain over a $10,000 a month net profit, then I will quit my job within that 3 to 6 months window. And it was only 3 months later. It was like March of 2023. I had worked for my father, and I was just like, hey man, like this is gotta go. I'm making good money in Amazon, and I really think that if I wasn't working a 9-to-5, I could devote 100% of my time and energy to this whole Amazon FBA venture. And I really wish I documented it more as like kind of how I'm doing it now, of like constantly making content, video content, talking about everything. I think if you're doing anything like internet money wise, like I think you're kind of selling yourself a little short if you're not making content with it. It's a lesson that took me 3 years to learn, but I mean, here we are now. Making videos, trying to make them every day on TikTok at least for sure, but get a YouTube video out once or twice a week, and just yeah, show people like what the possibilities are of Amazon FBA. I've said it on TikTok before, like I've tried other online businesses like day trading and other stuff along those lines, a little bit of crypto. I've never found the consistent success in any of that I've found in the past 3 years with Amazon FBA. It's a 15,000 square foot warehouse in Newmarket, New Hampshire. It's a very nice place in terms of it was built in like 2021. So it's not like an older, like raggedy warehouse that was like a machine shop at any time. It's very clean and nice. I enjoy going there to work. Plenty more content to come in the warehouse itself. It's just kind of hard when like employees are there because I don't want to like record employees if they don't really want to be recorded. If that makes any sense. But I don't want to put them under pressure, I guess, to be recorded. But anyways, and growing through online arbitrage and kind of trying to dabble into wholesale, we really realized that like having a retail storefront was crucial to our success as wholesalers in the hardware space. It's not crucial to success in wholesale in general, but in the hardware space, it is certainly crucial, I think. I believe so, in my opinion. You can fight me to death on that, but that's just my opinion. And yeah, I'm kind of sticking to it. But we opened up Prime Tools in February of 2025. I think we hit like almost 350,000 in sales in, yeah, this would be our first 6 months open. I believe today's the 7th or the 8th. One of those days. We opened February 8th of 2025, so we're approaching that 6-month mark, and we've done about 350,000 in sales, which is pretty good. I mean, for a brand new like brick and mortar business, like not like too e-com related. We do a little bit of eBay and stuff, but not a significant amount of eBay. It's a lot of foot traffic. It's in a great location in Hampton on a main road. Hampton, New Hampshire is kind of like a really vacation-y summer beach town, but it's also pretty happening in the winter as well. I'm gonna sneak around these guys here. Yeah, it's a pretty happening spot in the summer for sure. We got a ton of vacationers, and where you have a ton of vacationers, you have a ton of people remodeling, building, doing renovations on rental properties and stuff like that. So generally speaking, selling power tools and hardware equipment in an area that is a vacation area, it can be pretty good, I guess, especially when those vacation areas are like houses, like permanent structures. I'm gonna do a pull with the metas here. One more time. Tires haven't really warmed up that much. Been driving it too slow. But yeah. So this does have the front lift, which I think is pretty handy for sure. Especially when you have these giant speed bumps. I have no idea if I would have just hit, but I think I would have came pretty dang close to it. But yeah, so the content creation, the motivation behind it is, generally speaking, I want to help people sell on Amazon themselves. Having learned and done it myself for 3 years, I feel like I have a really solid base of knowledge on everything Amazon, and I have all the quote-unquote receipts to prove it, with like the warehouse, like an active seller account. Like you can check, I post screenshots all the time of like active dates. We built the retail store. Just a lot of general credibility in the space. Some people are definitely more maybe qualified than I am. I'm definitely not saying I'm the GOAT or anything. I'm definitely not saying that. Yeah, I'm definitely not saying that I am the most credible person to follow. But I do think I have a solid knowledge base on everything Amazon, and I can generally speaking, I can help just about anyone as long as they're motivated, start and scale their Amazon business to a point where they can make extra $3,000 to $5,000 a month for sure. It's at the end of the day, it's not rocket science. All the information is out there on like YouTube or Reddit forums or wherever the hell. But you're going to have a hard time putting all the pieces together. And I'm not trying to, insult anyone's intelligence by saying this, but you're going to have, generally speaking, a harder time putting everything together by following just YouTube after YouTube after YouTube and doing it all yourself, because you're going to have questions. And if you can't get those questions answered rapidly, then, it's going to kind of bog you down a little bit. All right, we have secured car detailing goodies from Walmart. I get the chemical guy shit because it's easy. I don't mess with other stuff. If you're a detailer, I'm sorry. I know chemical guys kind of like frowned upon or cringed upon or whatever the hell. It does not ever really get old. But yeah, so the first half of the video I wanted to talk about Amazon FBA, my whole life business, all that stuff, and then I wanted to lead into the car content after, because I fucking love this car. Pardon my French. That's the one time I'll cuss. Hopefully I haven't cussed much other than that. But this car is fantastic. I can't really say anything bad about it, other than the vents in the front fenders catch rocks in them because the Cup 2s are so sticky. They're always kicking up rocks and stuff. And the vents, like, it's really hard to get those little tiny rocks out of there. And there's like aero on the rear fenders that catch a bunch of rocks too. That's the only part that stinks about like cleaning the car. Literally my only complaint about the entire car is like it's sometimes hard to get rocks out of the little aero vents when they get stuck in there. Like not even rocks, like pebbles. But yeah, so I didn't go with the carbon bucket seat one. Like 4 weeks ago I test drove, actually no, it's a little bit more than that. It's probably like 5 or 6 weeks ago. I test drove another 2023 GT4RS and had the carbon bucket seats, and honestly they're not comfortable at all. I get the clout, I mean, I don't really get it actually, but I understand why you might want them. Super sporty, you know, they're kind of cool to say you have them. But the gentleman who built this spec didn't put them in there on purpose, and he obviously didn't want them in his car. And I'm super grateful I didn't want them, because at the end of the day, comfort in driving a car that you want to drive a lot is definitely crucial. Because if it's not comfortable, then, at least speaking for myself, like I am not going to want to drive it if it's not comfortable. I know like that other people might disagree with that, but that's my point of view. But the PDK transmission, that's like probably my favorite thing about the car. It shifts so nice, like the response in the paddles or in the shift knob if you're using that. I tend to use the shift knob more. I'm used to driving a manual car. I've owned 4 manual cars in my life, and pretty used to shifting and having my hand on the shift knob. So using the shift knob to shift the PDK is kind of fun for me. The paddles are definitely cool though when you're like in a straight line or weaving through tight turns. I do enjoy using the paddles. There's a pretty sweet AMG pulling up. Takes a breeze. Quick pull to 60 in second gear. The power band is just so consistent in the 4.0 liter flat crank engine. It just taking you all the way to 9,000 RPMs. Like it just feels like it's just consistently pulling the whole time. Like the X5M that I own is like, obviously it's a twin turbocharged. It feels really fast when you get the turbos to kick in, because it's a little bit of lag there. But in like naturally aspirated cars, I've owned an E92 M3. I didn't supercharge or anything, just straight up the S65 V8 engine. Yeah, I believe that's what it's called. Been a couple years. But yeah, so that car was sweet. I love the naturally aspirated cars, especially in like a race car, fun car. In like a sporty SUV with the X5M, I like having the turbocharged engine. It's just more fun in that type of vehicle, but I think naturally aspirated vehicles, when they're meant to just be like raw sports cars, it's so much more fun to drive, and they feel like more nimble and lighter because you're able to just kind of have access to the throttle and not wait for any sort of supercharger, or superchargers are generally like anti-lag or zero lag, but the turbos in general, they'll have a little bit of lag to them. But just being able to like downshift and have like instant access to the power of the car, it's really cool. For me, this is my first Porsche ever. As far as I'm concerned, they are one of the cooler car brands to own, just in general. It seems like there's a pretty good community in the whole space. There's an event that they hold in Portland, Maine called Porsches in the Park, and my girlfriend Alexa and I went to that like probably like 4 or 5 days after I bought the car, and just like everyone there is just like happy-go-lucky talking about their cars. There was a couple GT4RSs, there was like 4 or 5 4RSs, and yeah, it's just really like, it was pleasantly surprising to be welcomed into like that Porsche car community with open arms. Not to mention I pulled up like an hour and a half late, so that was maybe not the move. But it worked out fine. Let's see, what else do I like about the car? The carbon fiber accents everywhere. That does not ever get old, especially on a beautiful sunny day like today. It's absolutely gorgeous. In the color combo with the gentian blue, the gold, magnesium wheels, and the carbon fiber accents, I really think the car pops more than most other versions. There is a mint green one floating around New England. The gentleman and I parked next to each other at the Porsches in the park event, and that mint green looked pretty sick, I will admit. He had like silver wheels and a mint green paint job, still with all the carbon fiber, like the YSAC package, so that was pretty sick as well. But I like mine better, as anyone should, as any car owner should. You're gonna like yours the most. But yeah, that's I suppose the confidence in me stopping the car. I need to take it to a track and really see what, you know, how comfortable I am, you know, taking it into turns, going fast, and stopping hard. Because I've stopped hard, like on regular roads and stuff. But yeah, stops on a dime. The brakes are ginormous. I think they're like 8 piston in the front and 6 in the rear. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a huge, like, knowing every single number about every single car guy. I just thoroughly enjoy driving them. But all that stuff. So there's so many benefits to selling on Amazon. They outweigh any like potential negatives are so low, whereas the potential positives are you're literally going to change your life. Like a negative outcome of Amazon is like maybe you're back to like where you are now, and the positive outcome is you completely change your life and you're able to do things that you could have only imagined, you could have only never imagined. So yeah, that's the same opinion that I have with content creation. It's like nothing really that bad can ever come from it. I'm not making any like radical content. It's just cars and Amazon FBA. So yeah, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow me on other socials. And also, if you're interested in selling on Amazon, click the link down below and fill out the type form to apply to be a part of my mentorship.